Kadosh, yes. Boker Tov. Good morning. Masechet Yevamot Daf 9681. We are on the Mishnah. The Mishnah on Yevamot Daf, right? I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 lines down, I think it is. Amrulo, right? Imagine right now a person that the wife goes to Medinat Hayam. Again, he sent his wife off on vacation, right? He sent her off. Shalach v'shalach etahem. And Amrulo meta ishtecha. So they come and they tell him, right? The good news, bad news, whichever way he wants to take it, right? They tell him the wife dropped dead. Yeah. Yeah. Right? And then he comes, he gets married to her sister from her father. Okay? Then she also went to Medinat Hayam. And then they came and they told her, Meta. Again, she died. Okay. Again, he got married to the sister now, Mima, from the mother. And now again, Meta. Again, she died. Right? So now he got married to the third wife's sister from the father. Meta again died. And then from the mother. Now all of them are alive. Now again, one more time. So it happened to be, meaning that it happened to be some good news that each one kept on dying, right? It's interesting that we don't say katlanit, right? Or for a katlan for the man. Look how many wives died. Katlanit is the black widow. Yeah, katlanit, likton is to kill. So she killed her husband. So here, right? How many did he kill here? He killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 or 5. 5. No? Meta ishtecha. Meta.
The first one.
No, I thought it was 4. No? Yeah, that's 2. Exactly. 2 and 2 is 4. No?
Plus the original one.
Okay, 1 second. Maybe right. 1 second. And the original one. You're right. That's 5. 5 wives. Okay? So all 5 of them died. But die. Well, you want to get rid of the Edim. Yeah, you're going to come. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, again, one more time. So kulan kayamot. Everybody's alive. Yeah, it happened to be that everyone just came back from the dead. Yeah. Mutar barishona bashlishit uvachamishit. The husband is permitted in the first wife, in the third wife, and in the 5th wife. Why? Because each one of these have no connection to each other.
The third and the 5th one both from the mother.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's from the mother. So therefore there was no connection to the original. One more time. The first wife and the second wife are sisters from the father. Now, the second wife, right, and the third wife were sisters from the mother, not from the father. So the third wife and the first wife have no connection between them. The same thing with the 5th wife. So that's why if you have a chart there, you have the chart in our scroll over there on the bottom, you could see it there. Oh, wait. Next, upotrot tzarotehen. So now they're going to be poter their tzarotehen, right? That means if he died without children, right? And now the other comes to do yibum. So all the other wives are going to be patut from chalitza yibum. Ve'asur b'shniya v'revit. Not allowed to continue staying married to the second and the 4th, because the second and the 4th were sisters from the father of the 1st and the 3rd. Capish? Okay. And if he died without children, and the brother did yibum to one of these 2 wives, it does not poter the other ones, because since he wasn't allowed to be married to the other ones, right? So therefore, it doesn't poter otam mi yibum. Okay. What happens now if he had relations with the second wife after the death of the first one? Which means, what happens be'emet if the first one did die? Right? That means, again, until now, nobody died. Let's say be'emet the first one did die. So now all of a sudden, everything changes. So now he's going to be permitted in the second wife and the 4th wife, and not in the 3rd one or the 5th one. One more time, take the chart. You always take the chart. If the first one be'emet died, the first wife, right, and all the other ones come back. So now what happened? when he got married to the second one, was that Be'eted? Yes. So the second one was Be'eted. The third one was from the father, right? The second one, the third one, one more time. The second and third was from the their sister. But now, what about the fourth one? The fourth one is only from the third one, but it's not to the second one. So now second and fourth are permitted to him because they have no family connection. But the third and the fifth are connected. No. At the end of the day, from the father or the mother, there's no difference. There's only difference because of the yibum, who could do yibum, but not because of at the end of the day, he's not allowed to get married to the sister. It doesn't matter for the father or for the mother. Okay, you understood? So one more time. If the first one really did die, so now he's only going to be married to the second and the fourth, and not to the third and the fifth. Okay? Next. Okay? The relation with the third and the fifth is not going to exempt from the tzarata, from yibum. Next. Right? Now the Mishnah is going over to the halachot of yibum. Yibum is only when the boy has already 9 years old and 1 day. So Bentesha Shanim, remember that a boy, once he's 9 years old, 1 day, it starts in it starts, all the different, he becomes a man, not a man tzad halacha, because it's bar mitzvah, obviously, but it means that now all of a sudden all the problems arise, right?
Could make other kids.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it says over here, Bentesha Shanim Yom Echad, 9 years old and 1 day. Posel al yidei achim, right? Which means Masechet Yevamot of this 9-year-old is going to be posel the other Yavams, even though they're older and they're above bar mitzvah. V'chen achim poslim, right? Al yadon, same thing. They're going to be the opposite through him. Ela hu posel tchila, v'achim poslim tchila v'sof. There's only one difference. He's going to be posel at the beginning. They're going to be posel at the beginning, the end. What is that? Keita. And if he's the 9-year-old, he has relations with a Yevamah. Now they cannot have yibum with this woman anymore. So that's posel b'techila, which means that he disqualified the other brothers from doing yibum. So imagine, you've got a whole bunch of a line of brothers. You have brothers which are already 20, 15. Yes, but the katan jumped the gun. He was trigger happy. Yeah? So the whichever one you want. Yeah? Yeah? And then what happened is the katan. Yeah, 9-year-old.
He gets married.
Yeah, and he does yibum with her. So yeah, well, yibum is always through biyah. Yibum is always through biyah. In a sense. So therefore, what happens is, right? That's it. So he's going to disqualify. 1 day. So one more time, he went and he jumped the gun, and he had relations with the Yevamah. So now all the other brothers, even though they're older, they could be 15, 20, 30, 40, doesn't matter what, they all become pasul because of the child that he had the yibum to the girl, to the Yevamah, right? I don't know if it's a girl, it could be even older now. Right? Ba'u alea achim, right? Ve'asu b'mana. Natru laget o chaltzu, osrim al yado. Which means that also if one of the brothers had relations with her, or they did a mama, or they gave her a get, or they did chaltza, they're going to be posel the Yevamah al yado shel katam litabem lo, which means that he cannot do the yibum anymore. And that's explanation also of levaso. Which means, right, if at the end the katan does go with the Yevamah, and then afterwards, right, one of the brothers come and they do one of these things, right, it's going to also disqualify. You understand what happened? And he's like, what is the tchila? The tchila was when this 9-year-old goes with the Yevamah, he disqualifies the other brothers. But if one of the other brothers come and they give a get, or they do chalitza, or they go with her, so now they disqualify the 9-year-old. That's the soul. That's what it means now. It's right, the sinu baso. Okay? Gemara. Says the Gemara. Atu kulu lav le'achad bita rishonani. One more time. What was the case? The case was, sorry. The case was, he had the first wife. She went, and then you had the second one, and then thirdly. So if you remember, we said in the Mishnah, how many wives were there? 5. The original wife, and then Kilu, she dropped dead. Then it was the second one, third one, fourth, fifth. Now, he says, after the death of each one, it's always the first one. So what does it mean about the first one, second? In every single case, right? It shouldn't have said after the mitata rishona, because each one was the rishona from the last one. So he says, Amar al-Sheshat, says al-Sheshat, no. La'achar mitat rishona v'dai. It meant the first one 100% died. Meaning because all the rest, we thought that she died, right? Because they kept on coming, right? Which is also really interesting. No, here, when they came, they had to be witnesses, 2 witnesses. It says here, Ayin Tzadik Daled Amud Bet, Ha'ara Teisha, Im Ledut Kazut Tzrik Shnei Edim, or Dai Be'ed Echad. Tzadik Daled Amud Bet, Teisha. Tzadik Daled Amud Bet. והגמרא דנה במקרה בו אחות האישה נזכרת בשעה הייתה נשואה בתפילה וגם בעלה על מסד גדת הים, עד אחד בא מגדת הים, על מות אשתו ואחות אישה מות בעלה. Yeah, it says here like this. It says, according to what we mentioned on Tzadik Daled Amud Aleph, a man is not allowed to get married to Achot Ishto al pi edut, ela al pi edut shel shnei edim, right? And that's also the dot of the Tosfot here over here. However, the Rashi says, right, shehen al mot, kotev shehen al mot ha'isha ve'en al mot ha'gis, hayta edut shel ed echad, right? And look into the Marshat, Tosfot Yom Tov, Bet Yosef, Bet Shmuel. Oh wow. So it comes out that there's a machloket. It's a machloket. Which one?
He's not as punished as a woman.
Exactly. She's not punished hardly like anything, which is a penalty.
So that's why in your mami.
One A. No, so it comes out it's machloket. No, you know why I wanted to be medayek that it was 2 witnesses? Because it said, right, in the beginning of the Mishnah, it said the amrulo. The amrulo is plural. It's 2. That's why I wanted to say. But then afterwards, it's on the footnote number 6 over here. He says, no, but look over there if it's enough with 1 witness or not. You understand? No. So there, and that's the machloket between Rashi and Tosfot. According to Tosfot, you always need 2 witnesses. According to Rashi, with 1. So he says over here, okay, next. Amar al-Shisha, we're talking about after the first, that's for sure. Okay, fine, next. Then Teisha Shanim Yom Echad. Then Teisha Shanim Yom Echad, Batchila Pasil, Basof Lo Pasil. Says it's only going to be Posel at the beginning and not at the end. Vatani Rav Zvid Bar Rav Hoshaya, Tzema Amar Vivem Tov. Here it's a mefurash that you could also be posel. What does it mean posel? Yeah, it says over here to be posel, right? What's the case? He says over here, if somebody does a ma'amar to his yevamah, and then the 9-year-old brother comes and has relations with the yevamah, he's posel oto. So it says also the basof it's going to be posel, right? Also at the end it's going to be posel. So Amri, they said biya pasil, filu basof, relations. Does posel even at the end, even though it's a 9-year-old. But it's going to be done ma'amar from the katan, only at the beginning it's going to be posel, but not at the end. So says the Gemara, biya filu basof pasil. Are you going to tell me that biya is going to be posel even in basof? Here it's mefurash in the Mishnah that the chiluk was between betchila basof. But it's not about biya. So says the Gemara, no, we're lacking part of the bright, so this is what you have to say. We're lacking part of the Mishnah. A 9-year-old in one day, who posel batchila, he's going to be posel at the beginning, they're going to be posel at the beginning then. But when are we talking about b'ma'amar? Aval biya poselet afilu basof. So here it's written with furash, biya is poselet even basof for a 9-year-old, which means if the 9-year-old had relations, even if it was after a ma'amar or chalitza or whatever it was of the other brothers, it's also posel. It's disqualified. Keitzad. If you have a 9-year-old that has relations with the yevamah, it's going to disqualify the other brother. He says, what? Does the katan even have a ma'amar at all to be posel? The time we learned to the right. He's only going to be posel with one thing, which is going to be the relation. They're going to be possessed through 4 things. He's only going to be possessed through relations, because only the relations is the only thing that he could be possessed. But the brothers could be possessed through relations, ma'amar, get, or chalitza, through 4 things. Yeah? It makes sense. A child does kiddushin. Is that a kiddushin? It's a child. It's a ma'amar. Ma'amar is nothing. A get. A child can give a get. Yeah? So answers the Gemara, you're right. Biya de pasla b'metchila b'mesov psikale. Biya, which is posel, for sure, from the beginning to the end, That everybody agrees with. Ma'amad is going to be posel at the beginning, but so if it's not going to be posel, lo psikale, it's not that certain. We're not sure. So because we're not sure, that's why we didn't mention. Okay, Itmar Nami was also stated in Rabbi Shmuel, yesh lo get, right? What does that mean? If the Yavama has a get, which means that he could be posel the Yavama through giving a get. He also has ma'amad. Some people say he could give a get. Some people say he could give a ma'amad, right? And therefore he actually can. We also learned to the right that yesh lo get, yesh lo ma'amad. You need also to need help, right? That you could give, that he could give a get or give a ma'amad. The Sabbath meaning yesh lo get. So ask the Gemara, does the Rabbi really hold that a child could give a get? Tanya, we learned to the right. Asu biyat menteshik ma'amad gadol. They did a biyah for a 9-year-old like ma'amad gadol. But the meaning says get with gadol. Right? They did the chalitza b'bentesha like a get with a yavam gadol. Right? Why? So it's just like there's a get by yavam gadol. So too, it's going to be posel the chalitza v'yibum gavim itanach. So litro kigito. Just you should have thought that it was like his get, not like his chalitza, but rather it's like his get. So he says, Amar Avun v'Yeshua, itle. He does have a get according to the mean, the zuta, but it's less of a strength, right? Which means the koach of the katan is less by a get, is less than a yavam gadol. Okay? According to Gamliel, that he says that there's no such thing as one get after another get. Anamilu, what are these words? Begadol, achar gadol. If you have one yavam gadol giving a get, and then another get coming afterwards, there's no get achar get. The katan achar katan or a katan after a katan. Aval gadol achar katan, but if you have a gadol that gives a get after a katan gives a get, nehani, it does help, right? Because obviously the get of the gadol has a stronger force than the get of a katan, and therefore it does help. According to Rabbanan, they say that there is a get achar get. Hanim, one of these words, begadol achar gadol, with a vav bar mitzvah after right after another vav bar mitzvah, but a katan achar katan or by katan achar katan, but a katan achar gadol lo mahani. It doesn't happen. Even according to the rabbis, since the katan has a lesser strength, the gadol, his get after the get of the gadol has no influence whatsoever. Okay? Nekuda. Mishnah, Tzadik Vav Amud Bet 96b. Mishnah at the top of the page. When you have a 9-year-old in one day that he has relations with his Yevamah. By the way, when it says the 9-year-old in one day, it just means that it's a full 9 years. Okay, that's what it means. It doesn't mean that he has to have an extra day. It means that it's a full 9 years on the actual day of the bar mitzvah. No. But it means that it's on the same day of his birthday, not an extra day. For example, a person becomes bar mitzvah 13 in one day. But it doesn't mean that he has to wait for the bar mitzvah day plus another full day. It means that once he starts on that day of the bar mitzvah day, that is already the Yom Echad. That already is starting that day. So therefore, that's already the one day. It's just coming to Lapuke the day before. Was the day before, a person could say, listen, he's already 13. Right? Why? Because the day before his bar mitzvah date, he's already 13. So no. It has to be that he's already in the 13th day. Meaning that's meaning in the 13th year. That means he already started that first day of the 13th year. Now he's bar mitzvah. Okay, so that he has relation with his Yevamah. Right? Now, the brother, which also is 9 years old in one day, has, I guess, some twins, has relation with her. So now, posel al yedo. So he's going to be posel the first one, right? And you got Ishon. So now you can do ibum. Why? Because also the biyah, this next one, is also maseh ibum. So it's going to be posel the first one. Mishmon said no, lo posel. It's not going to be posel, right? With his biyah, the first brother. So the first brother is still okay. When you have a 9-year-old that has relations with his Yevamah, then afterwards he also has relations with a tzara. He didn't have enough to just with one. He wanted to have relations with another one as well. So he had relations with the co-wife as well. So now he's going to be posel through himself. Because since he had relations down with both of them, that's it. Shimon says, no posel. It's not going to be posel. We learned in the right time. He says the Bishon to Chachamim and Biyah Rishona, Biyah Shnia in a Biyah. He says 1 second. If the first Biyah was considered a Biyah, so then the second Biyah is not going to be considered a Biyah. Mean Biyah Rishona in a Biyah. And if the first one is not considered a Biyah, so then the second one is not going to be considered a Biyah, right? So therefore, he's coming and saying, "So Mimanasha, something is going on over here." Because again, one more time, they were both 9 years old. So if they're both the same age, so Manashah, if the first biyah is a good biyah, so the second biyah should be a good biyah with the second boy, right? That was 9 years old. If you're going to tell me the first one was not a good biyah, so the second one also was not a good biyah. So it says, Tznitin is not like Benazda. The Tanya was learned in the right of Benazda Yomed. Yesh ma'amar echad ma'amar v'sheyavamot yavam echad. So he says that there's going to be a ma'amar echad ma'amar and 2 yevamins in 1 yevam. But there's not a ma'amar after a ma'amar with 2 yevamot and 1 yavam. Okay? Fine. And therefore, so he comes and he says, so therefore, tiknu koach shel ma'amar lechol echad yavam. And therefore, since there's 2 yevamim doing like ma'amar, it's going to be chal. So the same thing here, it's going to be like chal, the fact that you have 2, biyas basically, by the 2 different yavams. Okay? Next, Mishnah. Right? So the Amubet, the second Mishnah now. Okay? Imagine right now, right? A 9-year-old has a relation with Yavama, right? And he also drops dead. I guess mamash something's interesting here. Yeah. So for the first brother died, and now the second 9-year-old now died. So she does chalitza, and she does not do yibum. Okay. Chalitza v'lo mityavet. Says the Mishnah, if right now, right, if this katan got married to a woman, and now he died without children, she's ptura legamre from yibum and from chalitza. So here it just says stam. A 9-year-old got married to a girl, right? That's not yibum. Stam. A 9-year-old got married to a girl. So since he's a katan, it's not a good kiddushin. And if he dies, there's no yibum. Okay, so that's pashut, correct? Meaning a 9-year-old gets married, it's nothing. So therefore, even if he dies, right, the wife could, she can do whatever she wants. She doesn't need to do yibum or anything. Why? There's no marriage. It's a 9-year-old, and one day that has relation with Yivama. Right? So when he gets older, he gets married to another woman. So again, a 9-year-old has relation to the Yivama. Then he becomes bar mitzvah, and he gets married to another woman. Vamet, and then he dies. Okay, and now you have two wives. If he never had relations with the first wife, which was the Yivama, once he became bar mitzvah, she does chalitza no yibum, and the shniya could do either or. Rabbi Shimon says, Rabbi Shimon says, says Rabbi Shimon, he can do yibum whichever one he wants. Right? And then the second one, you just do chalitza. Right? Last case of the Mishnah. Doesn't matter these halachot. Whenever we're talking about a katan, doesn't matter whether he's a 9-year-old in one day, or we're talking about a 20-year-old, but he never had puberty. Which means he's like a siris, right? If he never had 2 pubic hairs, it's like simanacha. Okay? Says the Gemara. Amar Rava. Rava says, now what should Rabbi say? That would usually say when the person has zika to 2 yevamim means that they do chalitza no yibum. We're not talking about only if there's going to be a tzara. He can make a gezerah mishum tzara because of the tzara. Here there's no tzara. Why? Right? Because here he was under bar mitzvah when he had relations with the first wife. So michlatz chalitza yibum elon miyama. So for dafla you have to do chalitza. You're not allowed to do yibum. So we see from here that the rabbis prohibited, right, the yibum, even in a case of the tzara to yevama, right, where she had the zika tula. Okay, next. With 2 dots, we'll say Yishav. Imagine Nasa Yishav. Imagine right now the 9-year-old Stam got married to a girl. I remember, no Yevama here. Stam, a 9-year-old got married to a woman, to whatever it is, girl or woman, I don't know what she is here. And then he dies. So she stood up from Yibum Chalitza. Tanina lehaditzanu labanan. So we already learned this, that which we learned in the Braita. Shotev katan shnatu bametu. Imagine you have a shotev katan that they got married and then they died without children. The shotev pturot b'chalitza yibum. Their wives are pturot from chalitza yibum. Why? Because it's not a good marriage. It's not a viable marriage. So if they don't have to do yibum or chalitza. What happens if now you have a 9-year-old? He had a relationship with the Yevama, and then he got married Mishik Din. So we said if he had a relationship with the Yevama again after Bar Mitzvah, so then it's a full-fledged wife. If not, then she has to do chalitza. Says 1 second, why don't you do the biyah of the 9-year-old, the relations of the 9-year-old, like a ma'amad in a gadol. And it's the tzara will be ptura from Yibum. It's a pashrok that you should do chalitza on Yibum. So Rav says, no, lo asu bia bentesha ma'amad gadol. The rabbis did not make the bia bentesha like a ma'amad begadol. Shmuel said, no, asu be'asu. They did do it like a ma'amad of a gadol. So says the Gemara v'yasu. So why don't you just do it then, right? And if it is that they did do it, so then she's going to be asur to do Yibum, only to do chalitza. So answer the Gemara tonight here. It's machloket tonight. Hach Tana, this Tana is the one that Garbach, the four brothers, right? That we learned in the Perek of four brothers. Gazar, he made a gizera to prohibit Yibum mishum tzara. Right? Because of the so we're learning from here, begadol v'hu adin katan. We're talking about thank you, right? With gadol or the shelacha or apply to katan. Haida gadol, that which we just said to do with the gadol is mishum the gadol kind. So we're talking about a gadol. The high Tana the hafa and our Tana, our Mishnah, Svirale holds shasu velo gata. So they didn't make a tzara. Mishum tzara because of the tzara. Shmina we learn, right? Bekatan v'hu adin begadol. We're talking about a katan and the same halacha will apply to the gadol. Haida ka'amar, that which we said bekatan. We're talking about a katan. Okay. Azar Rabbi Lazar amal shmat ben midrasha. So Rabbi Lazar ben Perat, he went and he said this in the Bet HaMidrash. He didn't say the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Shama Rabbi Yochanan heard this. The Ikman. Remember, Rabbi Lazar ben Perat was the student, right? Rabbi Lazar was the student of Rabbi Yochanan. Where do we learn that? Right? So again, so Rabbi Lazar heard this in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, but he didn't say it in his name. So when Rabbi Yochanan heard this, he was makpid, right? Why? Because if he taught a student something, say it in his name. What do you know? No, he was saying something else other than Rabbi. Then you're allowed to. He was allowed to, right? So he says, "Ulegabe Rabbi Yami Rabbi Yasi." So Rabbi Yami Rabbi Yasi, they came into Rabbi Yochanan to try to appease him. Amrule, they told him, "Look, there wasn't a story. Right? He said, wasn't it the story also, right? In the Bet Knesset of Tveria, that there was machloket between Rabbi Lazar ben Shamua and Rabbi Yosef, until they went and they tore a separate Torah when they were so angry, which means, right, that basically what they were trying to come and say is that they were so spicy, they actually even tore a separate Torah. So says the Gemara, you really think they tore a separate Torah? You really think they tore a separate Torah? It tore, not because they tore it b'chavana, obviously. The separate Torah was torn, right, because of what happened. So Vayashav Rabbi Yosef Yisma, and it says Rabbi Yosef Yisma, he was there and he said, if such a thing could happen in a Bet Knesset, that the separate Torah was torn, I won't be surprised if this Bet Knesset is going to become a church, a makom of avodah zarah. That's exactly what happened. So Hadarik Patfei. So then, because of that, Rabbi Yami and Rabbi Yasi, they wanted to remind Rabbi Yochanan, right, something that happens because of getting angry. Now, what happened? Hadarik Patfei. He became even more angry. Right? Why? Amar Chavruta Nami. He says, what? You want to make Rabbi Lazar that he's my student, like my friend? This story was a story between Rabbi Lazar ben Shamua, not Rabbi Lazar ben Pedat. Rabbi Lazar ben Shamua and Rabbi Yosef, that they were friends. And this is what happened. Are you comparing my student to my friend? Which means he's trying to tell them, he became even worse. They tried to appease him, and it came out even worse. By the way, you have to be very, very careful, because sometimes people try to come and they try to appease, and they put their foot in it even more. Meaning they didn't appease, they made it even worse. You have to be very, very careful, right? In the time of anger, 100%. You have to be very careful. So Rabbi Yaakov Baridi came up to him. Amarlo, and he told him, just like Hashem commanded Moshe's servant, he didn't change anything that. So you comes out that Yoshua taught Israel all the Torah Moshe. He says, 1 second. Do you think that Yoshua be new on every single thing that he taught Torah Moshe? He said, this is Torah Moshe. Yoshua was always Doresh. Everyone knew that whatever Yoshua said came from Moshe Rabbeinu. After Rabbi Lazar, also Rabbi Lazar, you're a student. Yosef Doresh Stam, he's saying drasha. And everybody knows that it's from you. That means the reason why he didn't mention it's from you is because everyone knows that everything comes from you. You're the rabbi, so everything comes from you. Amar Lahem, he told them, So now he went and he told Rabbi Yami and Rabbi Yassi, because they put their foot in it even more. They fueled the machloket. He went and he said, "Why don't you guys know how to appease, right? Like Edie, her friend, right? This is Rabbi Yaakov, buddy." So he comes and he says, "Why didn't you guys have to learn how to appease? You should have learned how to appease like Rabbi Edie. Why? Rabbi Edie, he gave me a piece. Rabbi Yami and Rabbi Yassi, they fueled the machloket, but he went and he learned how to appease." So says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan, why was Rabbi Yochanan so much appease? Big deal. They said something that wasn't in his name. Big deal. Says the Gemara, says the Gemara, my key wasn't in the pasuk, but that David HaMelech was mevakesh, agura ve'olecha aloni. Can a person live in two worlds? Because it says, agura ve'olecha olamim, two worlds. Can a person live in two worlds? And Lamar David HaMelech says David HaMelech says Baruch Hu, shel na'av, yehi ratzon. So the Zayin Amudal, 97a. She'omru davar shmuah mipi ba'olam hazeh. Bezrat Hashem, please, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they should say a davar shmuah from my mouth in this world. The Amar Rabbi Yochanan Shimon Yochai says Rabbi Yochanan name of Shimon Yochai Rashbi. Called to Mechachan Shamli davar shmuah mipi ba'olam hazeh. Siftotav dovo b'kever. Any Talmid Chacham that they're going to say something in his name in this world, his lips are moving in the kever. So Amar Rabbi Yitzhak Zerav v'Yitam Shimon Yizira. My kavod tzum here yenato. Cholech shlidover sifte yeshanim. What does that mean? Once they're going to come and they're going to put, right? It's going to start making noise. Meaning the Anavim is going to start making noise with a little touch. So sees to them, that's why he was so makpid that he always wanted that it should be in his name, so therefore he would be able to stay alive. But then Yishai actually said something beautiful, right? In the Bnei Yehuda. I don't know if it's in this Gemara or another Gemara, but it's the same Gemara, right? Because this Gemara is also in Sanhedrin, right? In other places as well. So it says that, so what does that mean? That means that the entire body has to stay intact. Because in order for Siftotav to be moving, so that the entire body has to stay intact, in order that his Sefatayim could be moving. And that's why they have to actually stay intact, right? The entire body. Yeah, the entire body. So the entire body stays, and that's what's so important. Okay. Very good. So we continue with Zat Hashem on Sunday.